welcome again to MJS Coaching Football. Coach Sullivan here with you. I just completed my 39th year coaching football in 2021, and I hope that your season was as successful as ours was. In this presentation, I'd like to talk to you about one of our many package plugs in our 3-4 system that we call Split Mick. Okay? And so we're going to show it to you versus 11 personnel. I'm going to diagram it over here. I'm not going to get into the intricacies of our trio zone blitz coverage. You'll have to go to our zone blitz coverage playlist. So non-subscribers, push the button. But I will talk to you about how we have our safety spin, okay, and how we disguise it. Over here are going to be the key terms to help you better understand how to execute hoop split Mick. And then I'll diagram it over here and bring it to life for you, okay? So the first key term is package plug. We combine, in this case, an outside linebacker plug, that's hoop split, with an inside linebacker plug, that's the Mick. All right, the key is, and I didn't mention this in the hoop tight bill package plug presentation, but it's the case in any of our package plugs. You have to, in the 3-4, account for how do you make the nose correct. Excuse me, my apologies. So he's a part of both sides, right? It's a zero technique, so you don't want to put them in conflict. So you got to go through your drill inventory and make sure you combine two plugs that doesn't put the nose in conflict. You know, whatever he does, he's right on both. All right, so I'll show you how we do that. The hoop split Mick, my apology, hoop split Mick. The lucky Ringo goes to the dime, okay? And by doing that, the nose is a part of the hoop split, which will make them right on the Mick, okay? The dime's going to plug A-gap from a detached position. The Mike's going to plug his A-gap. There's your double A-gap pressure. Both defensive ends slant B-gap. Slants B is part of the hoop split. On a Mick, defensive end slants B. So there it is, right? Boom, done. Nobody's in conflict. The nose, as part of the hoop splits, delay loop C gap, all right? And so he's got to make sure that he gets contained if it's pass. So this defender, if it's a big kid that's a good A-gap to A-gap, but not, shouldn't be looping in the C gap, then substitute, you got to get a different player in. And so to make sure you're not tipping off, here comes that blitz, you have the same defender for other blitzes that utilizes his athleticism. Okay, so you got to figure that out as the coach. All right, but that's a part of this. You don't want to put kids, ask them to do things they really shouldn't be doing. All right? And so the third key term here, it's good versus all personnel groups, even though I'm only showing it to you versus 11. All right? And it's also good versus run or pass, zone read or power read, although I prefer it versus pass. So as you go through and you do your tendencies by personnel groupings, down distance, etc., I try to avoid a 50-50 situation. I try and get one where it's definitely leaning more towards a pass. But if it were to be a run, we practice it in group situations, team situations, purposely against the running play, so the nose learns how to react. Because that's the guy that has to be put in that situation. Okay? So now let me bring it to life for you. All righty? So first, let's talk to safeties. Dime makes the lucky call, which triggers Louis. That's the safety spin. They communicate it, so we make sure that both safeties are spinning to the left together. We disguise it two different ways. One, the dime blitzes from depth. So because of that, I'll tell you how that affects the nose in a minute. The safeties don't spin until the ball snaps. So nobody moves till the ball snapped. He moves, he's going to alert the quarterback. They'll have a plan in place to defeat your blitz. The safety spin, same thing. I mean, the quarterback, has to look for the ball on the snap, obviously. The first thing he's doing, identifying the Mike, right? And he's looking at its safety structure. And if he sees it move, again, they'll have a plan. So don't help them with their plan, right? So ball snapped, okay, from depth. he blitzes the A gap. So to answer this question, what if my kid's too kind of big or slow? Well, this kid, more often than not, against 11 personnel, is a fifth defensive back. So I'm going to guess he's fast enough. Okay? Remember, both defensive ends, slant B, ball snapped. He screws down, reading the surface. So the surface is showing pass. He's hard on two. If the surface was showing run, he's got force, sky, right? The other, in this case, the whip, rotating, same thing, reading surface. They're showing pass. So he's the middle third defender. He's the only guy that doesn't have a defender to be hard on. Okay? Again, the techniques, you got to go to the Zone Blitz playlist, look at trio. Okay? Backer has the back. All right? Both defensive ends. Again, slant B. Mick, Mike linebacker at A gap. Anything that begins with M, it's the Mike. So now let's get to the nose, right? Oops, sorry. Rover's hot on the tight end. If it were run orbit, he's got the force because the safety's leaving, right? So he's got tight end. You see what the corners have. So delay loop C gap. Our nose guard punches the armpits, right? A little bit of knockback. He's going to get a hi-hat. So now the center thinks he's got a power rush, right? Well, in his head, when we teach it this way, when it's a split, that means it's the dime. Automatic, it's the dime. Okay? Tights the rover, splits the dime. We tell the nose 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, and then he starts on his loop. You got to add a 1 Mississippi to account from he's coming from a detached depth alignment. Okay? So then he loops C gap, and he's got to get outside the tackle because he's got to have contain. Right? He's got to have contain. Look, we got B, A, B. We're probably going to get the quarterback off his set point. We cannot allow him to scramble. That's where the contain comes in. Okay? So that is how we execute hoop split Mick. So as I said at the beginning to my subscribers, I want to thank you for watching MGS Coaching Football. Non-subscribers, I hope you push that button. Everybody, questions, please email me at coachmjsullivan@gmail.com because I would love to talk football with you.